Welcome to the Des Moines Public Schools Budget Forum for fiscal year 2020. I'm Superintendent Dr. Thomas Ahart. First, I want to thank you for watching. You obviously care about students and the future of our community. I appreciate your willingness to share your time with us and learn about the budget process. DMPS serves 33,000 students and employs nearly 5,000 people, making us one of the largest employers in the Des Moines area. Our student body is unique in Central Iowa. Minority students make up the majority of our enrollment. 76% of our students qualify for free and reduced lunch, 21% are English language learners, and 15% are special education students. Creating a budget for a school district as large as Des Moines Public Schools takes time and the involvement of many different stakeholders, including school personnel, business and finance professionals, the school board, and citizens like you. The budget reflects the labor, materials, and resources required to fulfill the goals and objectives established by the school board. Everything from classroom supplies to buses, technology to staffing, and food service to keeping the lights on. The budget serves as a plan, stated in financial terms, for carrying out the mission of the school district. The budget preparation process begins each year in September and continues through April 15th, the deadline mandated for formal adoption by local school boards of school district budgets in Iowa. Business and finance works throughout the period with both advisory committees and district administrators to determine enrollment projections and anticipated changes in programming. The development of a budget is fundamental to district operations. School budgets are often driven by allocation formulae, contractual obligations, district-wide policies and procedures, and school-based initiatives. Schools are very involved in this process. Business and finance staff sends each school a budget workbook showing its resources and allocations. Those workbooks are completed, approved, and returned to the Business and Finance Office to be included in the overall district budget. The cumulative budget is then reviewed and approved by the school board. Adjustments are made in October once actual enrollments are certified. Some important things to remember about a school district budget in Iowa. Number one, school districts have restricted funding sources, meaning not all funds can be spent on what the district decides. The budget is student-driven, and the amount we can spend per student is set by the legislature. It's a concept called spending authority. Number three, growth in spending authority happens in only three ways: increase in supplemental state aid, an increase in student enrollment, or an increase in miscellaneous income. Student enrollment decreased by 260 students in Des Moines this year. This is the largest decrease in enrollment the district has experienced since 2008. In fact, prior to this year, the district had experienced growth in enrollment 8 out of the previous 9 years. As a fiscally conservative body, the district is forecasting the budget using the assumption that enrollment will continue to decline, even though the Iowa Department of Education is projecting slight enrollment increases. Another factor that can increase spending authority is an increase in miscellaneous income, which includes federal dollars. The district is budgeting for a 10% decrease in Title I funding from the federal government for fiscal year 2020.
Hi, I'm School Board Chair Cindy Ellsburn. Supplemental state aid is our most important funding source, and as Dr. Ahart said, it is the last way we can increase our spending authority. But take a look at how state funding has changed, and not for the better. For more than 2 decades, 1973 to 1994, the annual rate of growth was set by a nonpartisan formula that incorporated various economic factors. The annual rate for those decades was nearly 6.5%. For the next 15 years, after growth was no longer set by a neutral formula but decided through the legislature, the annual rate dipped to 3.2%. Since 2011, school districts in Iowa have managed to educate more than 500,000 students each year with an average increase in state aid of just 1.8%. In FY 2017, the district's forecasting model indicated that if the district continually received 1% unrestricted supplemental state aid, by 2019 expenses would exceed revenues by more than $5 million, and rising, each year if changes were not made. We often hear phrases such as, "the majority of the state's budget is spent on education." This insinuates that spending money on public schools is a bad thing. That message is echoed by legislation introduced in the Iowa General Assembly both this year and last year. Yet our public schools continue to serve nearly 94% of Iowa's children. I implore everyone to remember that one of the tenets of public education is development of an informed citizenry, youth who grow up to become active, engaged participants in our democracy. They are our future workforce, leaders, inventors, researchers, and healthcare providers. This underfunding of public education, an education guaranteed to every student regardless of ability to pay, place of birth, or perceived ability, is an assault on the bedrock of our democracy and could have disastrous consequences over time.
I'm Nick Linhart, Controller in the Department of Business and Finance. While hoping for the best, but planning for the worst, the district anticipated the state would slow growth and spending authority. Consequently, we have been extremely careful in managing our resources. As Cindy stated, the district forecasted that the district would exceed its spending authority if changes were not made to expenditures. Consequently, the district has cut expenditures for the past 2 years just to stay within compliance of the spending authority function. And the district began this current fiscal year with the spending authority rate of just 0.9%. In this third straight year of expenditure reductions, the district modeled out numerous scenarios that outline the impact to supplemental state aid, inflation, compensation, and expenditure reductions will and have had on the district's unspent authorized budget. Each of the scenarios showed that to remain in compliance, the district would have to make reductions to expenditures yet again. Thereafter, the district settled on one set of likely variables and modeled out multiple scenarios with the focus on returning the district to a spending authority ratio that meets the board's target of 15% within 5 years, assuming trends for supplemental state aid, student enrollment, negotiated salary and benefit packages, healthcare costs, and cost of goods and services continued as they have done for the past several years. The district is budgeting under the general guidelines of what we call Scenario C. Consequently, the district is planning on aggressively reducing $24 million in expenditures each year over the next 3 years. Given the need for expenditure reductions, we have achieved efficiencies wherever and whenever possible and continue to look for more. We have worked hard to lower operational costs while improving the quality of services for students and families. From aggressive work to improve energy efficiency to centralized printing, we have reduced costs for some of our largest non-employee related expenses. At the same time, we have continued to reduce cost in staff compensation. However, more than 80% of our budget goes to staff compensation and benefits. When we have had to reduce staff, we have been very careful to adjust staffing in such a way that no one loses their job. This year, though, we must reduce staff again. There will be administrative, teacher, and operation reductions throughout the district. Most of the staffing reductions will be accomplished through natural attrition. Similar to previous years, the largest savings will come through non-position, non-personnel changes to the district's budget.